Hey yo guys, sup? Welcome back to another video, and today we're gonna be talking about Eula. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to, but hey, might as well try. I'm gonna be showing you her skills and talents and what they do. So without further ado, I'm gonna make this video as short as possible, and don't forget to subscribe. It's free. You can always unsubscribe in the future. Also, don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed. And yeah, let's get into the info. Alright, so we shall go to Eula's page on Honey Hunters, and they're gonna do a brief discussion about her stat progression and her talents. So let's start off with her ascension stat, and it's crit damage. So by default, she's already a good unit and easier to build, because she already scales with one of the best stuff for a DPS, crit damage or crit rate. Now, her defense is actually pretty high from what I've seen. It's not as high as Albedo's defense, but it's up there. Base attack, she's like really close to Xiao, and Xiao has the highest base attack in the game. She is at 342 base attack, which makes her one of the highest base attack characters in the game, along with Xiao. Others. Her HP is average 13,000. That's normal for a level 90 DPS. But the thing is, with her crit damage, she has 88.4% crit damage, which in this case is really high. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But that's really it for the stat progression. So let's move on to, I guess, her normal attack, which is 5 strikes. So she's gonna be a really fast Claymore user by how she's hitting with those 5 strikes, because she does a single hit. On the 3rd hit, it's a double attack. 4th hit, the 5th hit is a double attack. So it's gonna go boom, 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 boom. So she's gonna feel like a really fast Claymore user, which I'm gonna be enjoying that, because I like dealing heavy slash damage, but I also like being quick. So that's why I like using Xiao more than Diluc, because Xiao is fast and he's my favorite character in the game. But I do like Diluc. The thing is, he feels sluggish since he's a 4-hit combo Claymore user. Her damage output, I'm going to show it on screen now, her percentages. And by the looks of it, she will be doing pretty good damage at around level 8. So next, we're going to talk about Ice-type Vortex. Ice-type Vortex is a slash of cryo damage, and when it hits an opponent, she gains a stack of Grimheart, which can stack up to 2 times. These stacks can only be gained once every 0.3 seconds. Grimheart is a stack where it will increase Eula's resistance to interruption and her defense. When she holds, she will do a bigger slash, dealing AoE cryo damage instead. And then when she consumes all of her stacks, she will inflict a physical and cryo res decrease to the enemies she hit, which is huge, because now she's dealing the resistance rather of the opponents that she hits with a hold after consuming both stacks of Grimheart. And then next we have each stack of Grimheart will be converted to Icewell Brand, which will deal cryo damage to nearby opponents. And this is like a little sword that will drop to the ground, dealing AoE cryo. So overall, she will be doing a lot of damage, and probably most of her gameplay will be based off of her physical damage and from her auto attacks, and also her E, which is the press, hold. She will have 234.24% press damage, and then 392% about hold damage. The Icewell Brand, when it deals cryo damage to opponents, it will deal an initial 153.6%. And then we also have the defensive bonus per stack. So you get 30% per stack, which would mean with both stacks of Grimheart, you will get a 60% defensive bonus. Grimheart's duration will last for 18 seconds. I'm not sure how that will stack. Not sure it will go 18, reset it. Now it's a new set of 18 since both stacks are reset. Or we'll just go 18 for the first stack, and then 18 for the second stack whenever it activates after the 4-second cooldown. And on the note of cooldown, that's for the tap. The hold, it's 10 seconds. And the cryo res decrease and the physical res decrease at level 8 is 23% for both. This res decrease is for 7 seconds. 7 seconds is a lot of time, which will seem really kind of broken by what I'm reading. So I'm excited for that. And now let's move on to Glacial Illumination. So she bandishes her greatsword, dealing cryo damage to nearby opponents. It creates a lightfall sword that will follow her around for a certain duration. Eula's own normal attacks, elemental skills, and bursts deal damage to opponents. Charge the lightfall sword can gain an energy stack once every 0.1 seconds. Once the duration ends, the lightfall sword will explode violently, dealing physical damage to nearby opponents. This damage scales off the number of energy stacks and the lightfall sword that is accumulated. If Eula dies or leaves the field, the lightfall sword will immediately explode. So, time to give some explanation here. So the lightfall sword is a sword that will fly around her as soon as you unleash the ult. So for the initial skill damage, it is 328%. So that's pretty good. That's a good scaling. That's the initial hit dealing cryo. So she pulls out the sword, she swings, does an AoE like spin attack, and then when all the opponents are affected, there's going to be a sword that flies around her, and then which would cause her to build stacks, and to get these stacks you need to auto attack or use skills from Eula. And the base damage that the sword does when it explodes is insane. It's 602% about, okay, per se. That's the base damage when it explodes. But then the damage per stack, and your stacks happen from just like using her while the sword is out, which would mean that the damage per stack is 110.25%, which it's insane because there's 30 stacks, and the cooldown of this ability is 20 seconds, which makes sense because that is disgusting. I'll explain to you why these 30 stacks will be insane. And then the energy cost is 80. Yes, I see why it's 80, but I wish they could decrease it to 70. Hopefully they're still tweaking her and making her as optimal as she could be. Personally, I don't think she needs any buffs at the moment, because by looking at her scaling and her numbers on the percentages, she sounds like a really good DPS, but she does also sound really selfish. But the reason why I said that the maximum 30 stacks is insane, because most people won't even get to the 30 stacks, which is like, okay. But if you do reach the 30 stacks, this would mean that you get 602% initial explosion damage on the sword, the lightfall sword. But then with the maximum of damage per stack, which is 110 times 30, that's 3,300% damage bonus plus the 602. So in a total, it's almost about 4,000% base damage of the sword, which is absolutely bonkers, okay? There's nothing else much to say, but imagine having almost 4,000% boosted damage on an initial ability. That's insane, okay? That's wonderful. So now, we're going to move on to our passive talents and our constellations. Let's start off with the passive talents. Aristocratic introspection. When Eula crafts character talent materials, she has a 10% chance to receive double the product. That mean it's basically albedo thing for weapon enhancement material when he crafts, but for talents. And rolling rhyme. If stacks of Grimheart are consumed unleashing a holding mode of Eyesight Vortex, a light sword remnant will be created that will explode immediately, dealing 50% of the basic physical damage dealt with the Lightfall Sword and Glacial Illumination. It will create like a smaller version of the Lightfall Sword when consuming 2 stacks of Grimheart, which will explode immediately, dealing 50% of the basic physical damage created by the Lightfall Sword and Glacial Illumination, which in this case will do 50% of the Lightfall Sword, which is like 300% if you consume all the stacks of Grimheart when using her E, not her Q. Now, Wellspring of Warlust. When Eula's normal attacks score crit hits, Eyesight Vortex's cooldown will be decreased by 0.3 seconds. This can occur every 0.1 seconds. So basically, if you have high crit rate on her, this is gonna be insane with continually getting your stacks of Grimheart and using the hold mode as well after you to absorb those stacks and then decrease the resonance of enemies, or the resistance rather. Now let's move on to our constellations. This is where when I read it for the first time I was like, she's already good, but she just gets even more disgusting as she gets her constellations. So I'ma just read it, and if you guys are gonna go for constellations, there's no problem with it because she's just gonna be built different afterwards. Now, Tidal Illusion. Every time Ice-type Vortex's Grimheart stacks are consumed, Eula's physical damage is increased by 30% for 6 seconds. Each of these stacks consumed will increase the duration of this effect up to by 6 seconds and a maximum of 18 seconds. So if you were to get these stacks, that means the maximum Eula damage, physical damage increase is 90%, because it will be able to stack up to 3 times, 6 times 3. So yeah, that's pretty good. A 90% increase of her Eula's physical damage every time that she consumes Grimheart stacks by the hold mode. So that's insane. Next, Lady's Seafoam decreases the cooldown of Ice-type Vortex holding mode and rendering it identical to the press cooldown. This is huge for insane damage potential. So if I were to recommend a constellation to get her to, it's Constellation 2. If you want her to be insanely good. Because now her ult was originally 10 seconds at C0. And now if you get her at C2, basically the hold and the press will have the same cooldown of 4 seconds. Which is going to be stupid when getting continuously building the stacks of Grimheart, consuming them with the hold, and also decreasing the resonance while dealing half of the physical damage of the Light Soul Sword when it comes with her passive, Rolling Rhyme. Now, Lawrence of Pedigree. As per usual, it increases the Global Illumination by 3, which is her ult. Max of upgrade level 15, just increases the level of the talent. Now, the obstinacy of one's inferiors. The Light Soul Sword deals a 25% English 100. 25% increased damage against opponents with less than 50% HP. So with opponents, especially in floor 12 Abyss, if you were to have opponents that were less than 50% HP and you unleash Eula's ult, and you build up the stacks of the Light Soul Sword, charging it, making it grow, you will be able to deal another extra 25% increased damage on top of the number of stacks that you're able to complete while normal attacking. So that could be like over maybe 2000% bonus total plus the 25%. So it depends on how many normal attack or skills you can fit in while the sword is up. Her C5, which is just another talent increase by level by 3. Ice-type Vortex this time, her E, maximum upgrade level is 15. And then finally, her C6, which is really good. And it says, the Lightfall Sword, created by Glacial Illumination, will start with 5 stacks of energy. Normal attacks, elemental skills, elemental burst have a 50% chance to grant the Lightfall Sword an additional stack of energy. So basically, what this means is that she will initially start with 5 stacks, rather than starting with 0 stacks out of the 30 total. So she will be able to now build up those stacks quicker so that she can deal that 30 maximum stacks, which is going to be insane damage when that sword explodes after you build it up. So all in all, her constellations, they're all really good. Like, I cannot complain with these constellations. And by the looks of it, if you were to go for C6, she is going to be a disgusting DPS. And you know what? That's all I gotta say. Guys, you know, hopefully you liked the video. And punch like button in the face. Go subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Why did I hit my mic like that? I don't know what you guys heard. But anyways, yeah. See y'all in a bit. Hopefully you'll enjoy Eula. I'm definitely saving. I'm skipping Child Banner. I have like 4,000 Primo Gems right now saved up for Eula. After Eula, I'm gonna be saving for Inazuma. So, or maybe when I see a Ganyu rerun, because I kind of want Ganyu now. But yeah, see you in a bit. Take care, and
it's the roaring